So for those who just joined us on the Zoom, please keep your video off and mic mute during the entire session. Sean, please help to check also. And if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to use the chat box for those on the Zoom. And for those on Facebook, you can use the Facebook comment and also to can react. Yeah. So thank you for joining us today in our last Zoom event, Conversation 3, the Gudang Yee Seng 2, working on site. And this conversation is part of Site C, Site Now segment of the Situ and exhibition. I just wonder how many people here have joined our previous events for the Situ and exhibition. You can kind of raise your hand using the reaction button if you have. But if you have never joined, you can also type in the chat box, like, so that I kind of know how much you know about the event. Okay, it seems only. Oh, it's okay, Z. Okay, no worries. So I just briefly recap. But actually, every time when we have different events, the recap is different. But today, I wanted to recap about the entire sort of the entire program. Wait, is it on screen too? Have you guys seeing the slide? It says the Situ. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So the Situ and exhibition actually has started from the first MCO, like 17 to, I mean, the first MCO 2.0. So it's from the 17th to 26th of January with pre-exhibition fieldworks, and we actually officially open on 29th of January. So this entire project is about finding meaning of working in a place through divergent views, perspective of different art practitioners. And we will look into different contexts which artists deal with in their work. So today is supposed to be our last day of exhibition as well, but we are thinking of extending our online exhibitions as well as offering virtual Zoom tour, but maybe more info will be released later. I'm planning that with my friend Huda. So so this is all the events that had happened during this 2 weeks. And then so the flow of today is basically I'll just briefly talk about how the Situ came about and how each segment of the program came about. And also I will show the process video. I actually played it in the opening, but since most of you wasn't here on the opening, you will see it again. And then each of us will introduce ourselves and sort of have a reflections of our experience of working on this sort of new site. Yeah, and so there is 3 segments in the Situ and exhibition. Site A, Gudang Yee Seng 2. Site B is Meanwhile Elsewhere, and Site C, Site Now. So I did this sort of slide earlier in end of November to kind of explain to my collaborator what is in my brain. So for Site A, it's actually a lot about started from where I was working from. I mean, I work in Gongsikiao for 3 years, and then I would like to think a bit more about as an art space or art practitioner who work here, and then why do we work here? Yeah, and what we actually do. And then so then I thought, hey, maybe we should start from knowing about our neighbor. And this thing sort of happened. We know them, but it's not like in a very formal banchi or survey. Like it's just an informal kind of try to chit chat with them. So for the artists, really like what the hell is art, right? This is also some questions that our neighbor wouldn't understand because our neighbor are in a warehouse setting and they are curious of what we do. But actually, I think art is just our language to express ourselves. And for the artists to make work here, it's also for them to get to know about the place. Yeah. And then for the side B, Meanwhile Elsewhere, it's a lot about it's we tend to be very fixated on our own work. In this case, I mean, if I work in Gong Kiao, I will be very focused in this area or Old Klang Road, and we tend to forget about what is happening at the same time somewhere else. So why not we look at what other people are doing as well? And then that's why we had interviewed two performer maker, sort of Rensing and Ridwan Saidi, to go through their archive and also their thoughts about their relationship with their sites, with their ongoing works, and also other uh, other play or theater film. Yeah, but it's also what I'm interested in is also the process as not just the end product, because end product can, we always can package it in a very fancy full words, but what is the core of it, of our relationship with site? And then site C, site now, which is what the conversation today is part of, is about, when we do something, we also wanted to discuss about it, but we wanted to discuss it in a meaningful way so that it's worth everybody's time lah. So it's for the audience to ask questions that you are curious about, or to answer the question in our honest way, or to reflect, I think. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment box. We will answer. So this is what this entire today conversations will be very focused about, the Gudang Yee Seng 2, where the Gongsi KL is somewhere here. And this is when mini flash floods will happen in our Gudang. And this is where I work, Gongsi KL. And behind there is Axim. Axim is our sponsor for the venue. They let us use the space for free, but at the same time, they are also the owner of the entire Gudang Yee Seng too. And in this particular Situ exhibition, they are also our venue collaborator. Yeah, so for side A, we have two artists, Novia and Yong. I would like to show you the two process video that I have made to sort of document what they have did lah. Right. Let's start with Yong first. Not sure if I've shared the sound. Hold on, yeah. Right. And then the next video is shot by Novia herself, and maybe with the help of her friend.
好，可以重新来过。我现在在做这一张桌子，希望这张桌子能让Gudang Yee Seng的来Gudang Yee Seng或者在Gudang Yee Seng里面的人可以坐下来聚在一起聊聊天，聊聊这里的故事。我一天呢，除了睡觉和吃饭，我都在做这个，然后我觉得非常的后悔把它弄成这么大张，我应该做小张一点的。我每一天都很后悔。
可以给我们看一下吗？你在剪什么？
我也不懂这是什么，这应该是一个棒吧，我也不懂。然后这是一辆车，然后这是我最喜欢做的这些 ice cream scoop。我最喜欢做的小道具，然后我也很喜欢做这种路标。
苦中作乐呀你！
很多都已经连下去了，不然的话有更多给大家可以给你看。你看我做了很多路标，我看到路标我就很开心，做了很多路标。还没上色的也有，上色的也有，掉下来了。
好了，辛苦了。
我一直觉得在身边周遭有很多很有趣的小故事，可是大家就没有。等我想一想啊。我想不止Gudang Yee Seng，其实我对身边所有的人，他们怎么生活，他们生活上的一些小细节或者一些小智慧，我都觉得非常有兴趣的。是我去到Gudang Yee Seng的时候，你曾经叫我们走8分钟之后，要分享，看看对这里有什么想法的嘛。其实那时候我没有太大的想法，因为感觉上和一般的工厂区都没有很大的分别。然后可是经过这次的 project，来了好几次，然后和Gudang Yee Seng的人聊天，然后访问他们，然后或者默默的在旁边看看他们是如何工作的，然后工作之余，他们也把这个地方当成他们生活一部分，甚至有些人会在这里喂猫啊，有些会在这里养鱼。
Right. So that's all. The videos that I would like to share with you. Maybe I'll pass the session to our moderator. Not so formal moderator for today, Andrew.
Okay. Thank you, Sien. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us this Sunday afternoon. I want to read a bit of things that I have written for these sessions. So working on site, it's not a strange or an unfamiliar term to artists, curators, performers, architects, and also engineers. With COVID-19, many of us are now working from home. So when classes, meeting, and also social events are moving online, the term working takes a new whole meaning for all of us. our work site are now becoming fluid, shifting, and sometimes also hybrids as well. So what is our relationship with working on site, and also with the site? What are the processes and challenges of working on site? So I would really like to congratulate and also thanks Sien, the curator for the Situ, for giving us an opportunity to have this conversation about working on site. My name is Andrew. I'm an educator. Ethnography is a research tool that I use to explore human interactions with the social world. This session is called the Situ Conversation 3, the Gudang Yee Seng 2 Working on Site. Our focus is on a collective reflection between curators and Site A artists, the Situ. Like Pavilion have introduced earlier, we have Yong, a designer, and also Novia, Shin, a visual artist. Because the title is called Conversation, so I thought today, let's be a little bit chill. You know, it's a Sunday afternoon. It's sort of the ending of a series of events of the Situ. So instead of me introducing everybody reading through the text, I will let everybody introduce themselves. And I think Pavilion is holding two roles here, right, today. She started the session earlier, but she is also part of this curatorial process as well. So two artists and the curators in this particular session. So I'll pass to Pavilion first, and then Yong, and then Novia.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sien. I'm the curator for this DC2 and exhibition. But actually, I am also I'm also working as a sort of caretaker lah, manager in Kongsi KL. What else should I say? Itu sajalah.
Thanks. Yong.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Should I start or how?
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay. So I should share my screen first.
Oh, not yet. Just a bit intro.
Okay, my name is Yong. So I am a interior designer, and I also work at some installation art, and I run a community library they call Little Giraffe Story House in Churas. So yeah, thanks Pavilion for inviting us. Welcome for this project lah. We have fun of it and quite enjoy.
Thank you, Yong. Novia, if you can have a quick intro of yourself.
Hi, I'm Novia. I am an illustrator. I like to make tiny things. Oh, can you see? This is my rambutan tree in my hometown. It's gone now, so I still miss it. So this is one of my previous work.
Thank you, Novia.
Okay.
So I just want to inform everybody that the session is recorded. And it's also live on Facebook as well. To kickstart the sessions, I want to ask Pavilion a question. So Pavilion, can you take us through the concept of Site A, and particularly how does it fit into the Situ, the whole exhibition?
Okay. So before I talk about that, maybe I want to sort of briefly mention what I did in my work in 2019, I think. So I mean, for the past 3 years that I have been working in Kongsi KL, we have been working a lot inside the warehouse, which is this virtual background that you are seeing. That's the warehouse. So it's like it's sort of a response, like when we say some of our work or some of our performance or show is site specific, that means we must have a site, right? So, but all the work that we are doing, it's only within the boundary of this rectangular warehouse. And then site A is kind of questions that I wanted to ask myself or as a space, or to the artists who are working in Kongsi KL, like where is our site exactly? And then where is the boundary of our site maybe? and also can we look beyond this four walls that we have and really go out and see what we can do outside, or what context that we can address in our work. So for this project, I invited Yong and Novia. Actually, both of them are Marjuni's friend. So Marjuni always mentions Yong, and then I also know Yong from his little library in Cheras. And then Yong has this, his work is mostly installation kind of interaction space. So yeah, that's Yong. And then Novia, also from Junyi, that she mentioned, she went to the temple to pray together with Novia. And then Novia seems to have can interact with the people who are in a site that is seen from her previous work. So I thought for site A, when I say I wanted to go out, the most immediate thing I thought about is actually to interact with the neighbor, because the neighbor doesn't really know what we are doing. They would say, "Hey, what you guys are doing?" And when we say arts, and then they think art is too far away from them. Yeah. So so that's why I invited Yong and Novia lah. Oh yeah, and also to add on for Yong, it's also because their library, they run a Mid-Autumn Festival annually, and the annual festival is like a major celebrations for the family and kids. Yeah, so you also realize that they also have a different way of dealing with the people in their own neighborhood. And then for Novia also has a different way to deal with the people in the projects that she works on, even though she's a by project, and Novia is more of like a long-term within a space. Yeah, like that lah.
Thank you, Pei Sien. So we'll move on because a lot of us are anticipating to see both work as well. So what happened is I'm going to pass the time to Yong to do a little bit of sharing so that we can see his thought process of coming up with this particular artwork. And after Yong, we will pass to Novia, and she's going to do a bit of revealing the artwork and also tell us the nitty-gritty, the story that she has collected through the artwork as well. Yong, I'll pass the time to you.
All right, thanks, Andrew. So let me share screen first. All right. So here we start. So first of all, my name is Yong. I'm a designer, and my company is Atelier BT11. BT11 means Batu Sebelas. This is the place I born, I grew up, and established my office. That's why I put it is my name. The office from the places. Batu Sebelas means 11 miles away from Kuala Lumpur. So it's a small village, but this is where I started my career. So I think we are here because of this topic about conversation, the Situ, Gudang Yee Seng too, and working on site. For sure, I'm coming to participate in this project also because of this thing they call the topic that being by curator is called there's two things here. There's called I'm going to working, and another thing is about the thing that I work have to discuss about the site of the Gudang Yee Seng. So this is the first clue, the first instructions are from the curators, what I know. So after that, so I have to understanding what my site about. So this is my site about the Gudang Yee Seng too. The red part is the whole boundary of the Gudang Yee Seng too. So the yellow one was the building there. So some of them, they are like gudang, some are factory, some are storage. So basically, there are some different kind of people that actually work here, stay here. First of all, for sure, the businessmen, they run the places for making their business, for making money. And for sure, their workers work here. there are some consumers that come here to solving the problems and looking for their solutions. And for sure, like a few years ago, there a bunch of artists coming to here, wish to use the places to share what they love, what they want, and for sure, because of these artists that go into these places, some outsiders that are starting to go into these places because of interesting, because of their own reason lah. And me and Novia, two of us, are request to do a thing that they call art in this site. We have to using this art to discuss about the site and the site specific thing lah. So this is my second question for myself. What is that about? Like you ask, two of us gonna do an art, and what is the art about? I think the whole thing gonna run the whole event gonna run by the name of art, because we all, no matter as curators or even us, we like to experience that that brought from art and we no matter experience is from seeing, from listening, from smelling, from tasting, and from touching we all enjoying the experience from that. And as artists, we wish we can share the experience to the audience. The audience, probably the businessmen here, the workers here, probably outsiders, no matter who they are, but this is why we want to create art, because we want to share the experience with them. So I continue to keep asking myself, so what is the experience I want to share with them? Because all of us, we have our own definition of art. Art is self-express, art is anything that we can use our own term to express that. But for me, for this project, I think it's more about like we want to sharing some experience with the targeting audience, which I just mentioned just now. So, and we wish through the experience, I just wish it might be, I don't want to say it will, it may be, but inspire, make the audience inspiring and yearning and probably touching, probably more. It may be only this is what we wish and we can do. So, but what is experience that we can provide for the audience or the locals here? So I think we start from the site. I'm going to the next site. Let's start about what is site. This is the entry from the Gudang Yee Seng. Well, after the gate, this is what we saw. There's a road, and both sides is a factory or shop. But you can see actually, today the most interesting thing about this site is they have a not clear instructions about the public spaces. You see, all the people, they just parking their cars, like pandai lah. They make sure they're parking their cars and they left some empty space they think their car can pass by. They call routes lah. Mostly because they have no clear instruction there. So mostly all of them like doing that, but pandai lah. And they also pandai like putting their stuff, using the public space as their storage lah. Putting the generators, containers, or even trash or scrapper stuff like at the public spaces. But the interesting part is I'm not sure, because I'm not every day here, so no one like fighting or gather about that. This is an interesting thing about that. This is how they using the public spaces with the pandai way, and that's a result of that. It's like a bit like a country that we don't have clear instructions mostly of the thing. And we enjoy it and we hate it and we love it. This is about the Malaysian attitude lah. So this is how they treating their public spaces lah. But that's a very big sense. It's mostly all the industrial area lah. How they're treating their empty spaces to put things, storage things. And once again, this is what I found that interesting. They have the place that like almost like a plaza, like a square. It's actually a parking lah. So once again, they don't have a clear line how to guide those people how to park a car. And people that works here or come in here, they also will find their ways parking their cars. But for me, the spaces itself is very interesting. They have a big wall from a factory which is very empty without window. I mean, those are interesting. And they have a fence that separates the scrapper cars and the normal car. This is well found. And just behind that is a residential area. We can see just behind the fence and gate, behind the trees, is a residential area. Another way of fence we saw, actually it's a wooden house that built by like 1960s. It still remains the exterior by the wood. You can see another side of it is a rumah terrace that built like maybe like 1970s or 80s. Behind it, they have some forest. Actually, they have some little forest there and some high rise that built probably these 10 years. It's like for me, it's like very interesting urban scenario, a range of layer of different time and different periods, and for sure, and I can see the whole elevations that of a Kongsi KL, all factory buildings, and beside it have a plaza, probably is 1980s built by 1960, and behind it have a new developments coming up from Exim. So this for me is very racial, but this is what I'm thought only. This is what I feel. But this is what I get from the site that page the curator want to discuss about. So this is already coming into my mind, and how do I frame it? How do I want to frame this thing and deliver to the audience? This become my next step. I keep asking myself, how do I want to frame all the thing that I thought is interesting and send it, deliver it through art to the audience? So this is me. This is what I see, what I hear, what I feel. I already have from the site, but between me and the audience, we still have a big gap. And for me, this is the opportunity of chances for me to making art, which is art for this time is like invisible bridges. It have to connected me and with the audience. And that means I want to make a bridge. For me, it's like art is like a bridge for this time. So so when I have the bridges that connected me and the audience, so they can see what I see, they can hear what I hear, and they can feel what I feel. So when we talk about we want to building a bridges, it's a very logic one. That a bridge is something, some path that are floating in the air. So what we're gonna do is we make sure that the path are solid, steady enough. So we're gonna use a different kind of way, probably a structure support from bottom. We can hang from top. This is a different kind, thousand kind of way to let us to strengthen, to make the bridge steady. It's like we can use anything a way to capture the frame that I mentioned just now. But make sure the bridge itself has to be solid and steady. Then the rest, we can put Hello Kitty also can, put Pikachu also can. It's all about decorations. It's about own taste one. For me, that this is the last part. So, but what is the bridge between me with the audience? How I connected with them? For me, there's a term, I have to give it a name for this bridge they call stop, which means at least I can stop the audience at the perspective that I see, then I can deliver what I see, what I hear, what I felt for them, at least. But how do I stop them? Stop is something very interesting. Yes, we always see the signboard or the audience from people like asking people to stop. But we all know that this kind of stops are not last long one. We just say stop, then what's next? We don't giving it much like space to keep development and the experiences. Okay, stop. So what is the stop about? So right now I have to introduce an interesting term from Chinese. This is how we write stop in Chinese. It sounds like ting, so it stops. We all know Chinese hieroglyphs works. So it's about all the pictograms kind of ideas to write the thing. It's like a drawing. But if you know Chinese, probably you don't know Chinese. You see that the stop itself is a combination of two words. One is the ren. The one, the red one is another independent word, and this is independent word. What is that about? So this is, the ren means human. This is how it write, but slightly different. It's exactly, ren is different. And another is exactly sound like the stop, exactly the same. It's like also called ting. Actually, it means the pavilion. So when you see, the thing is very interesting. When you have a human and with the pavilion together, actually it means stop. It means stop directly. It means spot. If a human and the pavilion, it means stop at the moment. So look at the ancient painting from the Yuan Dynasty. We're clear about that. Where do the ancient peoples allocate the pavilion? Pavilion just a shelter with some frames, some structures, probably some seat maybe. but where does it allocate? It probably allocated in the middle of the mountain, at the middle of a journey or path. And so when they put that, they provide you a chance to stop. When you stop, you take a chance to drink some water, take a rest. At that moment, probably you see it outside, there's some mountains, some lakes and rivers, some village. That's the moment where the poet and the painter start to make things up. For sure, we at the Auckland route and the Gudang Yee Seng, we don't have such a context of a mountain level, but what we have, once again, this is actually the landscape that exactly assisting in this Gudang Yee Seng. All the machine, the generators, the storage, and they've been exist for a long time, right? Some of them have been like stopped for so long already. So this give me an idea that how do I start to working on site? How do I apply my ideas on the exactly situations? So, and without spoiling and injury the existing item, because this is all the cari makan stuff. They're using this for making money. So I clear my role and my job at coming in here is create an experience, probably is temporarily. I'm clear probably is temporarily, but at least I just want to create an opportunity to let them feel a different thing. But I must follow a rules that I cannot spoiling and injuring the existing stuff. So this is what I found and what I appear in my brain to claim. The idea of claim that happened in our daily life, it used to clips two different things together with the bolt. And the ideas could be just happen in our daily life. I think probably I need to using this kind of way to claim my pavilion at the existing landscape. So, and what's next is how should I do make it? And this Gongxi used to be a factory of Volvo and some aluminum shop. So immediately came to my mind is I think I have to work like what it was. This place used to be a factory. I think as an artist or designer that invited to this project, I think I can use it the original way, the way it designed for to making something new here. So it directly came to mind. So we brought some metals, brought some steels into this factory and let the noise come back again. So this is my ideas. And actually this project is considered quite small. The budget is very tight, super tight. So I can figure out the whole construction, the whole project probably gonna complete by me alone because I have no money to hire more people. And probably at the install moment, I couldn't spend hiring more people come to help me install. So in the end, my expectation is only like 3 people enough to help me install the whole thing. So first, I have to figure out is the component can carry by an human skill because I cannot like rent a skylift come to help me to install a whole thing. So a component can carry by an human skill. So after that, we screw it, install it after. This is how the idea of the construction. First of all, we're gonna make an independent a staircase, like a standalone without screw. It's like a sculpture. After we make, we just throw there to provide us chances from land get to the first 4 levels. And then we throw the component that I mentioned just now. A component, a claim that lock at the generators. So putting the beams. So it's like basically it looked like a 2 claim at top of the generators. So then not enough, we're gonna lock the two claims together with the floor and also with the benches or sitting areas. So the floor and the benches is most like a beam for the whole structure. So after we solid the foundations of the whole buildings, and we start to put the second element, which is columns, then we can start anything freestyle above the highest level. So roof and that. So the whole thing is gonna actually in the end is using 3 people to install it. Me, Jackie, and Sam. In the end, when we're installing the structures. So when I installing and when I'm preparing the whole component, actually is during the period of MCO. So this is where I sleep. My camping is really sleep like breakfast before sleep at the factory. There's my garage. So a sculptural independent staircase that putting on without screw and just put. This is the final outcome. Pavilion itself. This is how we lock the structure with the container without injuring the generator itself. We put a piece of wood and we screw it, and when we're getting tight, it becomes a press to locking the generators. Is how it look like. So everything just put like on the top of the generators. The interior of this pavilion. Then we're looking outside, so everything should be different already because we are a higher level than the ground already. So once we look out again, the scenario are different. So at the noon is a resting area for the people. But during the night, the roof can be opened. It's just structures without a roof. And the night is like a lantern for the parking. And also screening, movie screening zones for the wall. So all my ideas came from and poet before I'm starting this. So actually in the end, I'm still making an object that people can see, which is the structure, the lanterns at the public spaces. I think I finished my work. At least I make some objects at the public spaces. But the object itself can let people come in and the thing changing again. It become a refuge and a prospect. So when we sit outside, this is what I say just now. They see what I see, they feel what I felt, they hear what I hear. The rest is all about the audience with the site. I already finished my job. This is the idea that came from. It's a poetry from Ling. So this is called the fragment. As you stand, the brazier see the scenario watches watching you upstairs. The bright moon decorate your windows, and you decorate other people's dreams. I think, So I think my idea is not only creating an object that people can see. It is, I think, the existing site and the content here. Is the thing I want. I wish the audience can see lah. This is my idea for the whole project lah. Thank you. So I stop it.
Thank you, Sun Yong. Thank you. I have not been to Gudang Yee Seng since early January. So back then you were still preparing. So even until before your presentation, I didn't see the whole things coming together. But now it makes me really excited because I was thinking, oh my, if ever the MCO, the travel restriction is lifted, I would want to also go to Gongxi and see the work as well. Because I thought it's amazing that not many of us have seen Gudang Yee Seng from that perspective. So usually we try to avoid that generator because it's hot, right? And things like it's noisy and things like that as well. So for all the audience, if you have questions for Sun Yong, you can type in the chat box. And also for those who are watching us live on Facebook, you can also type your questions. We will get back to your questions later. I'm going to pass the time to Novia. Novia, it's your time to show us to review some of your work.
Can patient show the photo?
Patient, we can't hear you.
Give me a minute.
So we have seen how Novia's work, it's so delicate and so small. She's making quite a large artwork, and in the intro video you heard her saying, I regret, right? So but I sort of hear like a happy regret lah. So so we'll see the final artwork after
Okay, sorry Novia, I tak sempat buat your slide because I forgot. But I will show the photo.
Yeah.
Can everyone see my screen?
yes, Pavilion, yes.
It's a sketch of a table.
Yeah. In the beginning, when Pavilion suggest me to work on this project, actually we was planning to do a residency. So I will be staying here and then talk to the neighbor and get some story from them. Then I create artwork. But because of MCO, I have to go back to Ipoh. So I don't have much time to spend at Gudang Yee Seng. I think I came for 4 or 5 times before I create the artwork. So I was quite struggling also, because usually I will spend a lot of time doing research before I start to do any artwork. Then I remember one of my artwork before. It was a table, and the table end up a lot of people stop by and then sitting there and then telling story about the chit-chatting and then sharing story about what they see in the table. So I was thinking, oh, this might be suitable for Gudang Yee Seng too, because I don't have a lot of opportunity to collect the story. Why not I make a table and put it here? Then when people come, then they can sit down and then tell story. Then the artwork only collect story from me. So this is the process that I start making all the cutting, paper cutting, and then measuring. And this is one of the uncle that I talked to. I think he's Uncle Lim. Uncle Lim is a freelancer here, so he told me that his job is making like renew the sofa. So this is Uncle Lee in a paper cutting illustration. You can see her spec and also her plastic bag is still the same. I like to make things tiny. So this is some of the process when I doing paper cutting. I think I spent for the past 2 months, I spent more than I only draw and then cut, then sleep. So I didn't go out. I'm doing a very good quarantine myself during MCO. Yeah, this is until I think last week. This is my stage at last week. So I still cutting paper and then drawing, and then I also asking my friend to help me to cut. I feel thankful that I have them, my friend and my sister, my younger sister. They help me a lot in cutting all these things. So small. So this is some of the scene that showing Gudang Yee Seng story. I feel thankful for Sun Yong because he introduced Gudang Yee Seng very well, so I don't have to explain them anymore. Yeah, this is the day when we install the artwork. Because when I talked to Sien, we were thinking, because this is during MCO, so to make the artwork look like MCO, I will not put the human into it first. I will only put in all the building, all the structure, tree, no living thing in the table. Then when I come here for installation, then we only put in human, put in birds, put in cat, and also a monitor lizard. Then there's yeah, this is some of the shop that outside Gudang Yee Seng. So I want to show the contrast. Like Gudang Yee Seng is a place that covered by all these shop houses and also modern shopping mall. Yeah, this is Gudang Yee Seng. This is the guard that holding the moving table. I saw them quite cute, so I made them into the character.
没有了。
So now I want to introduce some of the story that I collect and then I put into the table. I want to introduce yeah, this is how my daily life is, like scissor cutting. All these little tree, I didn't get the chance to put them into the table. I can show you. This is the extra door that I accidentally make. This is the extra river that I accidentally make also. I want to introduce from Gudang Yee Seng. Can you see Gudang Yee Seng here? Yeah, this is the front door at Gudang Yee Seng. This is the security guard that always open the door, the gate for us. And then this is the door. This is Uncle Lim, the freelancer that make doing the sofa. This is the boss. We found out that he always loved to wear red short. This is her wife, and her wife is always with her choo-choo. Yeah, this is the story that the curator Pavilion brought me to walk around. Then we met a very angry dog that chasing us. So this is the angry dog and Pavilion and I. It's an unforgettable story. This is how the uncle working. I saw when I do the drawing, then I found out the hand are always dirty, the shirt are always dirty. This is the young people that are working in I think it's a food factory. They always hang out like back here, and then you can see a tiny human behind the papaya tree. Because
yeah, where is Novia?
This is like a suspense suddenly.
Usually
let's
this
go
is the
into
time with
commercial.
iklan. Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
We think alike.
Yeah. Zaman dahulu lah iklan.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, this is your toilet break.
So if you have questions for both, and I feel like
Here.
while Novia, we wait for Novia to come back.
She no battery first, charge first.
Cry, cry.
Okay. Okay, we will come back to Novia soon. So I feel like if we compare between Sun Yong's work and Novia's work, we are asked to zoom in and zoom out in a different level, looking at Gudang Yee Seng very differently as well. So well, maybe we'll come back to Sien.
Yeah.
While they are charging, we come back to you, patients.
Yeah.
So, what do you think after seeing these two work though, that you have commissions to be installed?
Actually, I cannot say commission lah, a bit commissioning lah, because it's very, it's yeah, they work very, very, very hard. I mean, how I think at first when I asked them to join the project, I actually didn't know what they are gonna make. But I think especially Sun Yong, because his work is different in different sites. But Novia, you kind of know that her medium is watercolor, painting of paper. And then so maybe I start with Novia first, because Novia is from Ipoh, we all know, and she has a very short time that she can spend here in Gongsi KL. So basically, before they come in, I kind of have to say hello to the neighbors, and then I just like, hey, we are doing a project here. But when the neighbor asks, hey, what are you guys doing? I say, I also don't know what they are making, but we are gonna make something here. Yeah, so that's how we introduce them. And so, but after we go around to all the neighbors, Novia basically go around also on her own for a few days. And then there's also the one time that I will bring her outside of the Gudang Yee Seng, which is surrounding the Oak Road and our back of the Gongsi KL. That's when we got chased by the dog. And we kind of have to dodge the dog for a few streets. So, cause yeah. So that's the Novia story. But basically after that, she have to return to Ipoh, and to come back here to KL is quite difficult. So remotely we've been maybe WhatsApping her and take some pictures of the human activities that happens in Gudang Yee Seng. Yeah.
Novia is back. So
Hi, I'm back.
Commercial
So
break
sorry.
is over. It's okay, Novia
Sorry.
we will give you the time now.
Okay, I will continue. Okay. The phone, I'm not sure we can see now, but behind the papaya tree, actually a human hiding and playing handphone there. So it's where the place that he is resting. Then I would like to tell some other story, like this monitor lizard. I think someone told me that this monitor lizard called Lisa. So it is always with Gongsi KL. Then I also want to introduce this uncle. I want to oh yeah, Junyi name it Lisa. Then I want to introduce this uncle. I think the curator patient told me that this uncle is got a lot of freelance job. He can find a lot of way to make money. So this is one of his way to make money. He will collect the rubbish from here. Then he will get all the metal and sell it. Then I also found him during raining. He will help Gudang Yee Seng to clean the train. So a lot of freelance job for him. Then I want to introduce this tree also. And this uncle actually get a lot of leaf to feed his fish. This kind of leaf, I only know from him that it can feed the fish, and I saw it on Shopee. It's selling 50 cents for some this daun. Then this is an auntie. This auntie always feed the cat. Then there is cat doing the business poo poo. This is some of the daily life that I saw in Gudang Yee Seng. Like they are fixing things, there are cats hanging around, there are dogs hanging around too, and living peacefully with the cat. And there are people fixing lorry, fixing car. Then we also collect story from some of the uncle that before this, the current Gudang Yee Seng, actually there is a fire before. And then some of the building was burned down. And then one of the uncle told us that the building belong to this couple, husband and wife. They were crying when this incident happened. So this is a table like telling like going back to the history from the current time 2020, go back to 90s, and then go back to where we need the Klang River. This is Klang River. Then go back again to the to where there is when Gudang Yee Seng is a rubber plantation. Yeah, it's like a time travel. Yeah, and then we can see people doing rubber plantation. Then I want to introduce one more story. Hold on, yeah. After we putting this table in Gongsi KL, this uncle actually came. This Sapu uncle, he came and then told us more story about this, about the structure the building structure that has been burned down before. So I think this table have served its purpose, like people come and saw it and then they tell more story. So I'm very, very happy to hear this from Sien, that the uncle came and tell more story about Gudang Yee Seng. So I give I also put a magnifying glass for uncle if they can't see. So I want to show you Sun Yong work also is over there.
Thank you, Novia.
Yeah, this is my sharing.
Thanks, Novia. So if we can, thank you, Novia. So if we can bring Sien, Novia, and Sun Yong back on screens. So again, if you have questions, you can type it in the chat box in Zoom. And if you are on Facebook, you can also type in your question as well. We will get to your questions the soonest. Sun Yong, you ready? Okay. I think Pavilion has some questions for you, but I have a quick questions for Sun Yong. It's, I know that this is the first time that you have an artwork exhibited in Gongxi, but you have or Gudang Yee Seng, but you have known the site for quite some time. So how was it like coming here to Lepak as a as part of the coming here to see show, to meet friends versus coming here as an artist where you had to start thinking of do you look at the site very differently, and how do you then decide what to you have told us how to decide, but how do you differentiate that, meaning does that change your relationship with the site?
I think before before I be invited to this be an artist, I think me and others are very clear. When we going to the gate of the Gudang Yee Seng, and our direction is very clear. We drive our car into a parking and stop our car, and the next we immediately come from the car going into the Gongxi KL, because you already knows this is a industrial area lah. So the rest of it, like the furniture shop, there's some factory. Other people also going that with a very clear purpose. We all coming to Gudang Yee Seng with our own clear purpose, no matter is come to for show or come to solving some problems. So because of that, we don't have the opportunity to see things around, like what is next to the Gongxi KL, what is exactly how the Gudang Yee Seng look like. I think there's a difference between as visitors and workers they come here. When I kind of work here, so I have to see when I have to like I say, just have to stop myself and see exactly how even the elevation look like, how the roof look like, how many layers of roof they have, what exactly the color of the wall look like. Back then, I just go through. I know this is Gongxi KL, so because all my content, all I want is inside the Gongxi KL. So outside of it, actually, I don't need to care about. So when I working here, I mean, that's a different. I have to walk around, and I just realized so many interesting things that I never saw, never realized before. Like the wooden house that beside the Gongxi KL, actually is a guardhouse of is a guardhouse for Gongxi KL. The security guard used to live there and take care of these places for so many years, like 40 years ago. But right now, probably they already started a job, probably already changing the management. So, but the building was there, and the connection was stopped already. But when I stopped myself to look around things, then I found no story. So as a visitor, probably I don't have chances. I don't have a purpose to seeking for this with the interesting thing. I think that's a difference for me.
Thanks, Sun Yong. Is Novia back on? Is she
On the way?
Oh, okay. Pacey, maybe we'll continue a little bit with you. How do you see the final?
Novia is back.
Oh, okay. Novia, all right. Okay, I just have a simple questions for you, because I mean, your work is in such detail. So I wonder, as a layman, for example, like, do you take photo, then you memorize them? Like, do you take a lot of shots, then you refer to your shots?
I take a lot of photos, but some of the story, like the dog being chasing by the dog, all this I didn't get to take photo. I only remember it and then draw it again. But a lot of time I take photo. If I didn't get to take photo, then I will sketch it out. So when I do it, I can still remember because my memory, I have a bad memory. I'm not good in like remember things, so I need to take photo a lot.
Maybe my final questions for you before we open for more questions. How do you, as a curator, how do you feel seeing both work being visualized?
It's quite nice surprise also, because when you see it in person then you can appreciate it. Yeah.
So you are telling us to come. or to join the virtual exhibitions. We have a few questions coming in. Do you all have questions for among yourself? Because since three of you work very closely, maybe my last question is that, so how was it working in such a conditions of uncertainty? Because I remember the exhibition was planned slightly earlier, and you have to change time. And now that physical visit is almost impossible, so we are moving online. I think later on there's a questions about exhibiting online as well. How can you talk about some of your challenges of working during a very uncertain time?
I think for me, right, because the timeline is sort of I sort of decide first, and then I ask everybody if they are comfortable. So actually, the first thing was to postpone the exhibition for 2 weeks. It's kind of a relief also for all of us because when MCO is difficult to travel and it's also difficult to get enough manpower to help to work on building or to so that logistic is difficult, so that the postpone was actually good for all of us to work it sort of pace ourselves, and also and both of their work are very labor intensive. They need time,
So it's a blessing in disguise.
yeah.
So Yong, what about you? How's the whole thing of working during a second MCO?
I think very clear. I just moved here, stay here. Just like when I wake up at work until till midnight and I sleep. About I shower, I sleep, and then morning wake up again, continue to work. So yeah, for me, because it's just very hard to travel, so I just like directly move in. So I think it's a quite interesting experience, as I can work and stay at these places. And really, I never have I never worked at such big place before. Like this is the place really designed for factory, designed for human to working with the huge thing. So so when I work on it, I really enjoying. I can pick the big place and yeah, it's very different. We work in a small workshop that we have to care so many things. When I work here, I just make lah. I make and I can see from far, see from close, and all depends on me lah. So quite interesting for me lah.
Novia, what about you?
Oh, I think it allowed me to give more detail to this artwork. It gave me more time to make more little people to add in.
Are you disappointed that because earlier you said you thought you will be a residency, then you'll be staying in Gudang Yee Seng for the whole period of time? Are you disappointed that you are not able to stay and sleep and wake up at Gudang Yee Seng too?
Yeah, a bit disappointed. I think if I staying here, then I will collect more story and I will know this place better. But I think there will be chances for me to come again. And when I do this artwork, because I take photo of the whole places, and then when I'm making this artwork, I look into every detail of these places. And how to say it? When I take photo and then I go back to my hometown, and I come back again, it was like 1 month, 1.5 month time. So I didn't get to come back to Gudang Yee Seng around 1.5 months. So after I finished the artwork and I come back and I saw my artwork and the places, I have a different feeling. I draw this place before. I draw this little thing before. I know there is a scratch here. I know there is a leaf here. And I know there is a plant is over there. So I think it's quite I think it's quite interesting too. After I I do research here. Then I live at this place for 1.5 months. Then I come back again with a different eye.
Fantastic. Sien, you have questions for both of them?
No, right now. My
all right.
brain cannot function.
Okay. There's a question. We'll take questions. Then there's a question from Facebook. Wai Lu Ying. The person asks, using art as the bridge, how do you connect with audiences with virtual technology? What are the challenges you face in using technology to display your work and communicating with audience during the pandemic? Does this limitation benefit your creative process and surrounding? For example, a couple of art exhibitions are displayed online. This is a question to all of you.
For me, right, this exhibition was originally planned as you have to come to visit in person, like physically be in the space. So as something like how Novia did, she come here and then she experienced the place and then she decided to tell the story of the place through her drawing. I think the experience of the visitor is also the same. Like you come to the Gudang Yee Seng too, and then you see the space first from your own feeling experience, and then from there you try to understand the artist's work and try to understand why or how they make such a work. But the transitioning to virtual, it's also trying to figure out how can we still engage at this virtual space. I think it's just different strategy, but not like advantage or disadvantage, but something that we have to adapt. Yeah.
Yong, Novia?
I think my project is about the spaces one. I think we're very clear on that. Like, if switch online is very clear, you only can see things on visual, how the form look like, how the structure look like, how the thing look like. But the spaces itself, like the sense of spaces is you really have to come to the site to feel and not even the sense of spaces, the sense of smelling, the touching, everything have to come to someone. But which if I changing your light, which means I only left the sense of vision only, so people only can see the form of the artwork, and the pictures how it look from the pavilion is about eyes can see, so they probably cannot 100% experience what it really, but just like it's just cut until what the eyes can feel.
Novia, what about you? Are you, for example, are you worried that the details, that so much detail that you put in, for example, that it's now that we are seeing it online, but we won't be able to see as much detail you want us to see?
I think it's okay due to MCO because I discussed with Sien. The table will be here because the table is the purpose for the table is for the resident and to come and sit down and tell and sharing story. So I think it won't be here only 2 weeks. It will be here until one day Gudang Yee Seng is not here anymore. So it will be here for a very, very long time. Everyone who came here, they will get the chance to sit down and then share some story, or if they don't know anything about Gudang Yee Seng, they can come and sit down and then have a very briefly to know, very quick to have a look and see how Gudang Yee Seng look like. So it's not only the table won't be temporary here. It will be here for at least 2 or 3 years, I think. But when it goes online, I think we can take photo and like for not the whole view, but very small detail and separate it into a lot of different sections. Then I think it's a good memory too for people who came here and they cannot come here again. They can look at the photo.
Novia, I wondered, you said earlier there was an uncle who came in and then told you more story. How was his reaction? How was his reaction of seeing himself being made into your artwork?
We have to ask Pavilion. I wasn't here. So
Oh, okay.
I'm so regret I wasn't
Oh,
here.
okay. Pavilion, how was it? Okay. So this is our new online situation. Pavilion, how was the uncle's reaction?
So it's actually because we borrowed a ladder from him 2 days ago and we did not return. So he came in to check with us. Hey, you guys can return the ladder. Then I'm like, okay, I will return the ladder. And then I asked him to look at this drawing that Novia did, that he is sweeping the floor. He didn't really scrutinize into it, but then I think he can see it. And immediately he tell the story of the old building. I think that's the reaction that actually we never really talked much before. And we see him, he's only then I because he's a very old uncle. I think maybe 70, 80 kind of old. And that's the first time ever he talked so much with us.
Wow. Wow. So you have opened, you have built a bridge between the team and him.
Novia's table did. Yeah.
Well, we have two questions for Sun Yong. I'm going to ask the first one. This one comes from Huda, who's asked Sun Yong, how long would this mini pavilion last on site, you think? It does look both sturdy and fragile too. So how long do you think it will last?
Actually, until the owner want to take back the generators, but the whole thing actually is making by component, which means if he want to take generators, but actually the structure itself can stand alone after move to the different places. It probably can be a mezzanine floor inside of a Gongxi KL. But this is one of the plan. Is I'm not sure whether it's gonna work, but one of the plan is it's gonna be a mezzanine floor inside of the Gongxi KL. So,
for example, in the current location, do you estimate how many people can fit up there?
actually 10 also can. If there's no SOP, I think can be 10 people also can. But with SOP, we're gonna follow up probably
Maybe
six,
okay.
five like that. Yeah, because of the social distance, you cannot sit too close to each other.
Another question for you, Sun Yong, before we go to Novia. What do you think is the difference between making something as an artist and as an architect/designer? What hats are you wearing in making the pavilions? This is from your best friend, Marjorie.
Oh, I think the difference between design and art is more about like self-express, but design is art with a clear purpose and a strong purpose, which means I have a targeting audience, but in art I imagine I have an audience and I targeting it and I make things for the imaginations of a target, but when I talk about design, I have a very clear audience, very clear user for it, and I try to solve the problems and fit for the user. This is the difference between, for me, art and design.
So did you switch hat or both are similar hats?
Like I said, I think I'm gonna choose a. I actually am using the same attitude for that. But just because I say if when I'm making something they call art, I will create a fake user, a fake audience for that, which is myself, which is me myself too, and I will create the thing that I did. So because I think I'm not trained to be an artist, I cannot fully like self-express. I just do what I want. For me, this is not what I'm trained for, and it's really hard for me just to do thing without caring the user. So I will, if let's say I'm making a thing that I call art, I will create a character, which means characters for the purpose lah.
It's interesting because Sun Young, you also said that you imagine, when you create something, you also imagine you are part of the user, you are part of the people using it. So
let's say I have a Nokia user, I have to create a character, which is me. I imagine one. Let's say if I will stay here, work here, what I gonna do, what I gonna see, and if I was owner of generators, I didn't wish that the artist that spoil my generators, and so that's why I have to figure out how I'm making something. As an artist, I need, because this is my job, I need to making something new there, but I have to think about how about the owner of the generators. So I'm sure he don't want some people spoil his generator. So I can find out some way, and it become my energy, my momentum to creating and design this thing lah. So then in the end, you get the result of a pavilion. It's like a clam.
So Pavilion said the generator belongs to our neighbor, Meka Subo Resources. When you were installing, did they come?
No,
No.
Was it because of NCO that they are not here, or
actually, the owner that we asked is the office side of this business, right? The one that is in the Gudang is their storage operation side. So the boss is technically not inside Gudang Yee Seng. The boss is at Kuchai Lama, Jalan Kuchai Lama. So I send some updates occasionally to the WhatsApp group that we have. But the only thing that they say was in the very, very beginning, like, hey, can we use this? And then they're like, sure, no problem. And then I said, you sure? Do you want us to credit you in any form? Because they are very familiar in event. Their business is like an audio-visual company. And then they're like, no need lah, we neighbor ma. So we are like, okay. Yeah. So, and after that, they didn't really follow up after even... but I guess it's okay.
Thanks, Sun Young. So I'm seeing a different light into the design though, or the installation. It's because I think, to me, you are creating an extension for Gudang Yee Seng as well, for Kongsi KL as well, because and I think that's also part of the reason I thought, well, if I can travel, I'm going to go back and see it, because now if we are able to come back to Kongsi KL again, there will be extra seats, right? And it's above ground. We can see the parking slightly very differently. So it's interesting to see how the during MCO1 a garden extended. And then MCO2, then, a pavilion extended. So the pavilion, we can oversee the garden and also can look into Kongsi as well. There's a new questions for Novia from Huda from Zoom. Was there a moment when there was too much information to capture into the artwork? How did you overcome that?
You mean too much story that I collect? I don't know what to choose, right?
Information, maybe. Yes, you say yes.
Yeah,
story.
I think the table is big enough to show all the story now, because we were, Casey and I will discuss about the size of the table. So we thought 90 cm is quite small, then we can make a 90 cm table. So I thought 90 cm is quite small, so okay. So we decided to make a 90 cm table. But after I sketch out and then I start to draw, then I realized 90 cm is not small, because my thing is so tiny. So I get to put all the story I collect and put inside the table. I didn't.
Oh.
She is gone.
Hiya.
Only Sun Yong can see her.
It's too hot because the phone is too hot.
On the phones.
I think I want to share a bit about the early phase of the sort of to try to talk to the neighbors part. Wait, I want to share screen. Hold on.
Okay, she's coming back.
Okay, we'll give a patient a few minutes to share the screen, and also maybe for Novia's phone to cool down a little bit.
Okay. So actually, before we have the big meeting, right? I actually adjust the artists to come individually to the warehouse to sort of walk around and then see if they are interested to do it also. And then I think end of November we had also this is so because after that, after we meet the artists in early November and then end of November, I thought, oh my god, I still haven't really know my neighbors yet. Then if Novia and Sun Yong come to work, how? So this is also the day when Sun Yong come, and then with his early first idea proposal, and he asked if I have set up an appointment with the neighbors of Gudang Yee Seng so that he can present his first idea. And I like, no, I did not. I thought we can just walk through and talk to them. So what the response Sun Yong gave was like, you did not set an appointment? Then if we go there, go talk to them one by one, it would be wasting everybody's time because it's technically their working hours and they are making business at this time. So then that's why that day we sat down and do a poster to kind of adjust them to, hey, come and have a tea at Gong Si KL, Gonon, to get to know our neighbor, also for them to know what we do. But then at this time, it was 3 o'clock, right, the poster. But at 3:29 also nobody came. This is Majuni's punya tangan. So it's empty lah, basically. So I quickly WhatsApp some people that I know, Rosaline or James, and then we kind of introduced ourselves to them. But then I also realized that maybe this thing is it's a very awkward thing to do. Like if I have an art project in mind and I wanted to do an art project in Gudang Yee Seng, and then I don't know, it just feels to me like it's a very outsider perspective lah. So anyway, there was a second poster that I kind of did to try to gather everybody to take a portrait of their own company. But I did not send this out because I feel like, wow, so ego lah, this artist project, so egoistic, because just because we want to do something, then something will happen. But anyway, this didn't happen yet. Maybe it will happen in future when the time is suitable. But James gave us an old photo, which I also passed to Novia, and she drew it in her work. So just a small story lah, like how I think it's just in the beginning of the project when I say I wanted to find out what is our relationship with neighbor. But if I think of it as an art project, it will be so alien, so outsider, and so trying to push your own agenda. So I decided no need to do all that and just do whatever we are doing in our own work lah. Yeah.
Thanks, Patience. Those are very interesting insight though. I do feel like hearing those details and seeing both artwork, I feel like this is a beginning. Like therefore I like the title when you say working on site, right? So it's a work in progress. I remember we have some discussions, and so this is a work in progress, and Gong Si KL or Gudang Yee Seng is also part of a work in progress. The whole Jalan Klang Lama is also transforming very quickly. It's also a work in progress as well. I feel like I mean, I don't know whether but when I see Novia's work, I felt like, wouldn't it be amazing if the people that was featured in her artworks are able to see it, and I wonder if their reaction, if it's recorded, the story from the uncle who came to see the artwork earlier, if the reaction or even the story was recorded, then we don't even have we not only have an artwork about them, we also have their sound, for example. For Sun Yong's work, I personally feel like that's an extra space for people to sit around, right? Even when Gudang Yee Seng too, nobody's there, we never know if the cat is going to sit up there or someone else is going to take a rest, it's an inviting thing. When I saw that there's a potential of showing film, for example, from outside, not only 10 people can sit on top to watch the film together, maybe, people who are parked in the car, we can also park inside the car, and then we can have a drive-in cinema there as well. So I feel like this is the beginning of a series of network. So do we have more questions? Let me see. There were some responses on Facebook to say that they love the deaf. Good idea, great efforts, all the best. Also, there was a response by Naziati, say adaptable art installation with a purpose is art as well. The art came from installing it together into a purposeful design and how it can be adapted, like a scaffolding. Artists deal with meanings. So when Sun Yong say he is the user fake, he expressed the meaning of how the installation can create a public realm out of a junkyard. So I think that's quite a compliment for Sun Yong's work as well. And someone say, Huda say, yeah, at least you have tried. Now it's time to just to be. My last questions to all of you is, let me look at the questions. I want to know, so what are some of the new things you have learned about yourself and the site, and also learn about working on site through this collaborative project? More about yourself, like. So what are some of the things that you have learned about yourself, about the site, and also about working on site?
Maybe Sun Yong first.
For me, there's a few stages I can talk about. Like, first thing for sure, I'm sure upgrading my skill set of like welding. Like, this is a real, because every time I'm working on a new project and I gain a new skill, or I improving my skill of a craftsmanship thing lah. For sure, this is I growing from this. And second is every time when I'm doing a new project. Actually, everything from the beginning is a guess one. I guess they will have this result. I guess after I'm making this, we'll having the result. So I judging it from the end of the project, or whether what I'm guess whether it's right or not. So you also gain my my expectations of what we're doing in future, which means because every time before we do is nothing there. So I only come from imaginations, come from what I saying just now. All the ideas is about ideas is empty one. So like I say before I'm start the whole construction thing, probably we'll do it alone. But how a one man doing the whole construction thing? Before that, I already imagine. Okay, first step I can do this, do that, do the third, and the last is this. Then I gain the feedback from the journey, which one I was guess is wrong, which one I guess is right. Oh, then this is what I learned. Because some set I really like the staircase is actually is a quite fail result because it's quite second a bit because I just do one step wrong, which what I'm expect for. I think I should just do the step first, but in the end, it came out the result are not that good lah. So this is an experience for me. Like if next time I'm gonna do again, I won't repeat the same mistake that I do in just now, and I will remember the mistake that I making here, which mean the so-called experience of the fail experience. If you come here, please see the staircase. Okay, please. This is what I feel because I do a wrong decision for just the step of making a staircase. I choose actually before I'm planning, I have a few paths. Okay, plan A, plan B, plan C. I choose a wrong plan, then I get what I have today. Not a good result. This second kind of stairs. Yeah, you can come to see and check the defect thing. All the defect thing is a wrong expectation of my plan. I can say is this. Actually, there's a 2 column is wrong. Pasang one is a wrongly installed one. But because I know my whole crew and my team are tired, so I decided don't want to change it. So if you have time, please come to find those 2 columns that are wrongly pasang. I wrongly pasang because it's very clear. I'm not checking all the time because I'm very tired. All my team are very tired, and we just wrongly pasang. Just a direction of the column are wrong only. Actually, just a direction only But for me, it's also a mistake that I make from this process. So if you come to time and tell me more about what you found, the defecting of the artwork, all is my experience and my wrong decision.
Yeah, Huda say it's like a treasure hunt. So this is like a fantastic puzzle for us to then, maybe after the virtual walkthrough or exhibition, we can get people to guess which are the misplaced part. So Novia, shall we go for you? What have you, in this collaborative process, what have you learned about yourself as an artist? Also about, you have talked a lot about how you learn about this site, and we have known about Gudang Yee Seng through your artwork, but also how this whole collaborative process works for you. Your mic is off. Yes, now we can hear you, Novia.
I think I learned a lot from the people in Gudang Yee Seng. It's just like every time I went to a new places, when I talk to the people that staying here and working here, I saw how they work, how they staying here, how they enjoy their life here. I think I saw their wisdom, and this is how I learned from them. I learned from their story.
What about yourself? Have you learned anything new about yourself in this project, in this collaborations?
Hello?
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you, Novia. Oh, can you hear? Novia, can you hear? Can you hear
repeat the question again?
Oh, I just want to know because in the earlier in your video you say you regret because the artwork is too big, so you have to spend a lot of time doing it. And then also when you answer some question earlier, you say, well, you answer Huda's question, you say, yes, I'm able to fit all the story inside because the table is big enough. So, but I think my question is quite simple. I asked like, what have you learned yourself? Are you thinking that maybe are you going to challenge yourself and make a bigger table next time, for example?
I'm not sure if I will make a bigger table, but I think I will make more table because there is one time when I talked to Yong. Yong actually suggests me to make a table every year on different places. So I was like, it's like bright up my day. I was like, oh, maybe I can do that as well. I can challenge myself one table a year.
Thank you, Novia. Thanks, Novia. Hey, Sien, what about you?
Wait, actually, Novia also mentioned she did not realize her drawing become more and more intricate by the years. So even this table is almost the same as the previous table that she made. She spent much more time to make this current table because her drawing has become more intricate. It's also good, but also a lot of work lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For myself, it's a lot of about finding out how to work with other people, because in this project, many people are involved in different roles. And then what I have learned about myself, I don't know lah. It's like, because I know I cannot do so many things at the same time, I subdivided a lot of roles to many people, so everybody do just one small part. But then in the end, I think the crew have to do a lot because of the MCO. Only 2 person can travel. Sean, Jackie and Sam, and then the setup on them was very heavy, and they also had to help in Sun Yong's work. So I think that's the challenge of in this time lah. At the same time, also we are trying to do the online exhibition, so it's like setting up 2 space, but definitely the one setting up the physical space has spent much more energy. Yeah.
Thanks, Sien. I throughout the session, I heard something that I thought was interesting. Pavilion started the sessions and describing how this whole Situ exhibition came about. And also this particular site A, immediately I heard the word networkings, because you say, actually it's Sun Yong and Novia through Marjorie's friends, right? Immediately I heard the word networking. So to me, you have utilized your network as part of a member of Kongsi, for example, to get this thing going. For Sun Yong, the presentation was very, very interesting. I heard a few things that like your pandai, you know, it's like I think a lot of people catch that phrase of pandai. I also heard an interesting word, even though you say stop lah, but and also Novia also mentioned the word stop as well, because Novia said when she make a table, people stop to look at her work. And Sun Yong also mentions when you were thinking of artwork at this particular site, you wanted people to maybe pause to at least momentarily stop for a while to see this surrounding and what's happening here. And I think for me, both of you have done that, showing us very different versions, or allowing us to see different to see Gudang Yee Seng very differently to me. And someone mentioned there was a lot of, and I think Novia also mentioned something about moment as well. Some of the story on the table, for example, are your observation. Some of them are you collected the story when you spoke to them as well. So that seems to be a mixture of current and present and the history all together. So I thought that was very, very interesting as well. The beginning of these sessions, I thought I have been to Gudang Yee Seng for quite a while, and I thought I know the place. But to today's session, I know a bit more and a lot more, and things like that. So I think I have received a lot from this session. So, Pei-Sien, any final words you want to say since this is the final planned event?
I would like to invite, if you are in the 10 km radius, you can come to Gudang Yee Seng. There are many essential businesses here, can support them. Maybe I would like to play a short video of the walkthrough of the Gudang Yee Seng, if it's okay. Can?
Yes.
So that's where Sun Yong work is not installed yet. And then this is Sing. Sing has gave us a lot of old furniture from the office renovation that he did. And this is the new building after the fire burned down their old building. And he actually worked for Merkar Subur Resources, which is our neighbor. And Novia drew this into her drawing. This is Gilbert. He's the owner of this workshop. You can service your car here. He used to rear a lot of betta fish, but I think they are dead. And we are entering James' office.
Hello.
Yeah, James is very nice. And there is a workshop that wasn't open. They fix accident car and repaint them. So I did not take picture. And that's the person who fixed the generator. The guy who collected the katapang leaf also works here. And then this is the furniture shop, many new furniture. And that's Exim, the development that's ongoing. So this is the sofa shop, the uncle's workplace. They have many fabrics. But the shop is very empty nowadays because...
Auntie 没有来咩？哎呦，没有生意啊，没有生意哦。
Uncle is not wearing red short that day. So this is their backyard. And this is behind Gongxi. I think there is a new workers' quarter in one of the warehouse. So we also pandai chop some place behind next to Gongxi with some plants. And we enter again from the side door of Gongxi Kiao. And yeah. And then that's the walkthrough. I hope you guys remember better Gudang Yee Seng. And is it me wrapping up already, Andrew?
Yeah, so there are three more minutes according to plan. So
okay, I think I'll just share the links to the online exhibition. We have Huda and I have put together the exhibits on the online version, also where you can access here. And then there is a questionnaire that we appreciate if you can take a few minutes to fill up for the Japan Foundation Kuala Lumpur. So actually the Situ and exhibition project is part of the curator workshop that is organized by the Japan Foundation. I joined their workshop last year, February 2020. So in this workshop, there are two proposals that were selected, DC2 and Maybe. Maybe is curated by Rebecca Yo that explore the perspective of today's generations on the incident of May 13. So I also want to especially thanks all the staff in the Japan Foundation, Shimada-san, Tomokawa-san, Kyoko and Nasrin, who have been very supportive during this entire duration of the event. And of course, our own team, the DC2 team. And we hope to see you soon.